Hey all, Hibber here. So today I am doing a video that a lot of you have asked for, but I do not recommend that you put an Agile build on Cleveland or Montpelier. I'm just going to say that out right here, because you're going against everything that makes the ship good. But anyway, we are going to force an Agile build on this ship, whether it likes it or not. And in this battle here, it's like probably the second I did with an Agile build. I took it out and I wanted to see how we actually, could do with it. And it's not bad, but like I say, don't do this. So let's just look at the build here. So obviously we're using the premium Cleveland here and Greg the Garlic Farmer. It's not really Greg. I did use him in the battle, I think, but in real terms it's Kincaid that I'm using. So inspirations Tesla and Baltimore, and Ingenious, full speed ahead, Velocious, steer clear, and fully packed. So on the ship we have the double rudder, and then I have the increased range here in the end. That's unusual because the range is pretty bad on the ship here. 3 sonars, 3 radars, and 3 heels as a classic Agile cruiser. 1.4 second rudder shift, which is nuts. Just 0.1 behind Wichita, which can do 1.3. And I will say immediately that even though the numbers say 1.4 seconds, it doesn't feel like it. It feels more like 2.5, 3 seconds actually, and that's also why putting an Agile build on like these light American cruisers here, it makes 0 sense. This is just for the memes that I'm doing it here. So anyway, we're going to head into B because, as usual, no one else is doing it. So over here on my side of the map, I have no less than 5 battleships. 5 battleships. And the other flank has 2 cruisers and a destroyer. So there is no one to spot over here, like, except for me. So I'm gonna do the best I can, but like I said, this is not the best cruiser to dodge and try spot and dodge at the same time, and it's just really difficult. So I'm going to focus on capping and then leaving it up to the battleships to actually defend me while I do that. So it's a bit of a gamble going in here because I don't have torpedoes, and I do have an Agile build on this ship here, but anyone rushing me in here will be able to just take me out pretty much. But I'm betting the farm here that the red team is going to be just as timid as my blue team, and giving me enough time to cap and simply run away after. And then play into the more strong suit of the ship here, which is HE spamming from far away. But we need to cap first. We need to consolidate the flank over here, and while we're doing that, we might as well set a few fires on this defenseless Yami here that's just sitting in the middle of the map. Why not? And I mean, is there a better way of using your time than actually being in the capping, and also setting those fires that you're supposed to do in the ship here? I don't think so. So it's a pretty good position here. But it's also because no one's really pushing me. So I'm just going to sit here and, farm this Yami here for as much as I possibly can, because no one seems to be wanting to push us out of this cap here. And I do have quite a hefty battleship back up there just outside the cap. So I guess that's probably at least one of the reasons that no one's really too keen on heading into this cap here. Which is fine. I mean, that's what I always ask for when I pull stuff like this. If you see a cruiser going for gold, especially when you don't have any destroyers on the flank, well, you should support it. And that's exactly what these battleships here are doing. Perhaps a little bit too passive, if I may, give a little bit of feedback. And perhaps they're sitting in, the same spot. Perhaps, spreading out a little bit. But I'm not complaining because they're not running away and they're not rushing in. So it's all good. So I finished capping and I can't farm that Yami anymore, and it seems that I keep getting spotted by these spotter planes here, so it's time to move on. So I'm just going to see, is there enough room for me to turn around here without having to do an Austin Powers, and it does look like there is. So I'm going to kite my way out of here, because if I stay in here, sooner or later the Reds are going to push, and I'm going to get in a bit of trouble then. And as you'll see, I am target number 1. There's only battleships over here, and they all bow on. So I'm the juiciest target by far. So as soon as I'm spotted, yep, 4 people aiming at me. So here we're lucky that he's shooting HC. Don't know why he's doing that. But and here I actually overturn because the rudder is so fast, and I was like, oh, am I really turned that fast? But it all helps in, you know, dodging these incoming shells here, and see if we can set a few fires on the way out here. So it's all good. So that's pretty much it for this flank here. I've done pretty much what I can. I can still set fire to ships, but there's no real need to push now. We have the cap, and the battleships here, they are so far away. It's going to take them several minutes to actually get into, like the red battleships. It's going to take them a very long time to actually get in and do something about this. And in the meantime, our points are going to accumulate very nicely. So I am going to start looking for that destroyer. And I don't know where he is. I don't think he's on this flank. He's probably on the other flank. So that's why I'm starting to, you know, turn the ship around. And then while I'm doing that, I'll just see if I can set a few fires here. Because why not? So I don't have a fire build on the ship, and I can feel that. And also I don't have the range I have with a like a Scott build, for example. I can only reach just under 15 kilometers, which is not long enough with the ship here. You need to get up to 17 or something like that. And remember, that's with the range module in the force slot, which I usually switch for the improved reload when I run it with Scott or one of the other aggressive commanders or offensive commanders or whatever you want to call them. But in this case here, I have to make it work with you know, quite a slow reload, because I have you know, put the fourth module to get just a little bit more range, so I don't have to be, you know, on top of the enemy to be able to hit them. Because the problem with this cruiser here is that, like, the numbers say yes, it's agile, but in reality it doesn't feel very agile. Like Wichita feels a lot more agile than this ship here, and something like Edinburgh even more. And the Italians are in like a completely different group as well. So, like I said, there is absolutely 0 point popping an agile build on this ship here, or Cleveland for that matter, or Helena, or any of the light American cruisers. Baltimore as well, Des Moines as well, doesn't work. Well, it does work, but like, you're gonna get better results with a traditional build. Wichita is the odd one out, because an agile build actually works really well on that ship. So anyway, I know where the destroyer is now. He's at A. So I'm gonna go there now. I think I'm the only one with a radar in this game. So let's go and, you know, kick him out of the cap, and then we'll see what happens. Another advantage with agile builds, which is actually just as important as the rudder, to be honest, is the speed. I see someone is shooting at the juicy CC in the premium ship, of course. Anyway, like I said, for a cruiser, speed is really important, and you can see I can go about 37 knots here in this Montpelier here, which usually goes 32 or something like that, and that's really slow. And I mean, cruisers are support ships, and you have to be able to reposition, at least, you know, quite quickly. You don't have to put an agile build on, but I mean, the extra speed certainly helps. It also helps you getting into the cap as the first player, which allows you to set up your ambushes for whenever the destroyers or another cruiser make it into the cap. It's a very, very nice advantage to have. So there we have the Shima, and another cruiser is also helping out here. So he's in like a pretty bad position here, caught between 2 cruisers, and yeah, that's a bit the end for him. So that's also pretty much the end of my role in this battle here, because there's not much else I can do. I can set battleships on fire, yes, but I have no intention of actually going all the way down to D to cap that. I'm gonna stay somewhere between B and A here, so I can defend both caps, because there's only 2 battleships left, and sooner or later they're going to make a push. Because as you can see, all they did was reverse out into Oblivion, into the area where no one cares what they do, because there's nothing of value out there. My battleships pushed in. I took the cap, I consolidated the cap, they protected me while I was doing that. At least I like to think they did. And once the cap was safe and there's no destroyers over there, I left them to go and 1, take back the A cap, 2, get rid of the destroyer. And now I'm coming back because where else should I go? There's only enemies on this flank here, and we might as well just help out as well as we can. But as you can see, we're nearly winning on points already, so this is more or less a sure thing. But then we get to the fun factor. I mean, is an Agile build more fun on Montpelier? Absolutely, yes. It's probably twice the fun, if I should put it in some sort of real terms here. Because when I play this ship normally, you know, sitting unspotted behind an island, setting fires and getting 200,000 damage over and over again, it's boring. And if that was what the game was about, I wouldn't be playing this game. I can promise you that. I get a lot more enjoyment out of Agile builds, and it doesn't really matter which ship I put them on. But then, of course, for some ships, Agile builds are not the right pick, and Montpelier is one of them. Cleveland as well, like I said before. Helena, all the American cruisers except for Wichita, pretty much. The Russian cruisers also don't work very well with Agile builds. Other than that, you can pretty much force any other cruiser to work well with it. And here we are in, you know, Cleveland or Montpellier's home court, where we're just setting fire to broadside battleships and getting very, very easy damage from doing absolutely zilch, which is what these ships are about. And I mean, if you are a new player and you want to get into cruisers, I would suggest you start out with, well, of course, the lower tiers, but when you get to tier 7, I would probably pick Cleveland or Baltimore. Or this one. This is a premium though, but you can buy. Oh, you can't buy it anymore. No, it's a special ship. But just pick the Cleveland then, because it's really easy to play, and you will get nice games in it even without trying. And even if you get, you know, sunk halfway through the battle, you're still gonna do 100,000 damage easy. So it's a good ship to start out with. Also, the fact that it has a radar. And it just makes it like a beginner-friendly ship, really. Of course, if you put an Agile build on it, then the difficulty goes up a lot. And you should probably stick with Scott, unless you are like an Agile fanatic like I am. So I'm just getting the last damage in here, because the battle is about to win, and we have 2 solo caps, and we're gonna end at, I don't know, about 130,000 damage, which is, you know, respectable for Cleveland and Montpelier, but nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, 150 is pretty normal, really, in this ship. If you get a good game with lots of battleships, you know, and just pick a nice spot to barbecue them, and you can probably read the newspaper while you're at it, really. So that's the end of the battle here, and that was an Agile Montpelier. So now I've done it. I don't recommend it, but I've done it. The video is there, so if you want to see it. Oh, it's 120, not 130, my bad. But 3200 XP, or 3100, my bad, again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.